Hi there, I'm Vicky Parvino from Aussie Stampers. Today I'm going to show you how to make a silhouette card using the stamp set Enjoy Life. And I'm using these images here, and I decided I wanted to make a masculine card or something that would suit a teenager. So I'm going to use this bike riding image and some very soft sky pale blue cardstock, and I'm going to show you how I re-ink my Memento pad. So what I'm going to do is just dot ink all over the pad. This is a felt pad, and so the ink absorbs really quickly. And then when you've dotted it like this, you can use a plastic spoon, or what I like to do is just use the stamp that's on my block and just run the stamp over it, because I'm going to be using this anyway. And that's how I spread it out. So before I start the stamping, I'm going to actually do the background for this card. I'm just bringing in some scratch paper and putting it under my stamping mat, because I'm going to be colouring it with some watercolour ink. Now I've put 3 drops of Melon Mambo ink into my aqua brush and filled it to the brim with water. And I'm just going to do a loose wash across like this. Take it all the way to the edge and beyond, and that's why it's really helpful to have this piece of scrap paper underneath, so you don't have a hard edge on it. And now I'm going to squeeze and just get some more intense ink out. You can see that really intense colour coming in, and what this will do when this is dry, it's going to produce a two-tone effect on the card. It's going to have a lighter pink and a darker pink. Now I'm bringing in half a folded paper towel, and I'm going to blot that immediately and leave it to dry. So that's the first part of the card, and this is creating the background for the silhouette stamping. Once that's dry, I'm coming in with some more paper underneath, and I'm going to stamp the image of the grass, which I've re-inked. And you can see how lovely and juicy that Memento pad is. I tried this technique using StazOn ink, and I just wasn't happy with the stamping. It just wasn't working as well. And I also tried the black archival ink. And then when I tried the Tuxedo Memento, I was happy because it was actually working. Then you can come back and add little bits to the end. And I'm bringing in a black Stampin' Up marker, and I'm just filling in any of those parts where it's not quite solid enough for me. It's really simple to do. You'll see if there's any little places that you've missed, you can just fill them in like this. And so that's easy enough. And you can see in the background that it's starting to dry. Well, it has completely dried, but you can see it's dried in 2 tones, so it's a lighter pink and a darker pink in that background. Okay, now I'm bringing in the Cyclist, inking that up with Tuxedo Memento black ink. And just make sure, I got some on the block itself, so just make sure that you don't have any on the block, or that will really spoil your work. And press and give it a good hold. With these photopolymer stamps, the best tip is to use a stamping mat underneath and press and hold and give the ink a chance to be absorbed into your cardstock. And let's see how that's going to turn out. That's not bad at all. Now there's only a few little parts that are not quite as dark, so I'm bringing in the brush tip of my black marker and just filling in. And I find the best way to do this is how I would colour with my Copic markers is in a circular fashion, because it means you don't get any stripy effects. So that's a good tip to know as well. So just a few little bits here and there just to fill that in so that you get a real solid silhouette. And next I'm bringing in some scrap paper, and I'm going to stamp the image Wake Up, Kick Butt, Repeat, which I love. I'm punching that out with a 1 3/8 inch circle punch. And I'm bringing in some black cardstock, and I'm punching out a 1 3/4 inch circle to layer that circle. Now I'm going to fold it in half, and I was going to have it as a single layer card, but you can see the pinks bled through onto the back. So that's easily enough to fix. All I'm going to do is bring in some white card, and I'm going to make a white card base. So I'm going to bring in my trimmer, and I'm going to use Whisper White as my card base. So I'm just cutting a simple card base, and I'm trimming off that piece, and that's going to be a layered piece. And I think I'll trim a little bit off the side of it as well, because I'd like to have a little piece of white showing under the card. So I'll bring my trimmer back and just trim about 1/8 of an inch off the side, so that when I have it finished, you'll be able to see 2 white lines down the side. Now I'm going to just tape that on with some tape. You could use Tombow multi-liquid adhesive if you wanted to. If you prefer to adhere these wet, then that's fine too. And just cut them with the scissors and layer that on. And I'm going to use my paper piercer just to help lift the tape off the page. I really like this card because I intend giving it to Paul. He is a cyclist and he does a lot of marathon cycling with his friends, you know, hundreds of kilometres on the weekends sometimes, which I think is really cool. So I'm just adhering that. And now what I want to do is I want to bring in some of this thick baker's twine, and I'm going to lay that underneath. And the way I do this, and there are different ways to do it, the way I like to do it is to have a little bit of edge poking out, and then I do a curve, and then a curve underneath it, and another piece of edge, and then cut that off. So just lay that on top, and I find the easiest way to adhere it is to just put 3 dimensionals, 1 on the top. Just measure and make sure they're not too close to the edge. You don't want them sticking out when you put the top layer on. So there's 3 pieces there. Just press them really hard. That will help them adhere, but it will also help release the little tops on them. And then just pop the top on. How easy was that? So this is a cyclist card. It's great for a male, it's great for a teenager. I'm going to give this to Paul because I just think he'll love this when he sees it. Wake up, kick butt, repeat. That's all about his morning rides, I think. So I hope you enjoyed today's project. That's the end of the tutorial for you, and come back and I'll show you some more things to do with this lovely stamp set called Enjoy Life. Have a fantastic day, and I'll see you again next time. Bye for now.